Thank you so much for meeting with me today. My name is AnnaBose, and I am an early childhood professional, and I've been working in the field of early childhood since 2004. And I'm very excited to be here today. And I know we have some practice questions that we're going to go through, so I'm going to go ahead and start answering those as um, as I have some answers prepared. So for the first question, I wanted to answer what drew you to the early childhood profession. And so for as long as I can remember, I've loved working with young children. As a teenager, I began babysitting and volunteering at church with Sunday school and vacation Bible school. And it was just a really rewarding experience um, as I learned how much of a sponge children are and how they soak up just everything around them. Whether it was just one little snippet of something that we were talking about, or something that they learned, or just, hey, I made a new friend today. So it was just really rewarding and fun just to watch that growth and development in that short period of time. And so I did take a break from early childhood a couple of years ago, just because I got a little burned out. But as I started this other job, which is really what it was a job, it wasn't a career. I felt like a piece of me was missing, and so as soon as I returned to the field, I felt at home and I felt at peace, and I knew that's where I belonged. That just reinforced all the things that um, I'd been working toward, and just I guess I just needed that validation and just that reminder of why I love doing it. Um, and so even now, I'm still amazed at how a child's mind works, and I'm drawn to watch them go through that process of how to do something and um, how they try again and try again until they finally achieve their goal of whatever it is that they're working toward, and you finally see that light bulb go off in their head. So that's what draws me to the profession of early childhood. Um, the second question that I wanted to talk about was what I consider to be my chief responsibilities as an early childhood professional. And I think my chief responsibilities are, number one, to provide a safe learning environment for the students in my care. I feel like if we as educators can create that environment, then the children are going to want to flourish and grow within that environment that we've provided, and with our materials and our resources and just all the things that we incorporate into the classroom, and how we make them feel as they come into our classroom. They want to have that attachment with us, and we want to be able to have that relationship with them, so we can have that give and take of whatever it may be, of, hey, they just need an extra hug to get in to the classroom this morning, or it was a really rough night last night, and just they need to know that you're there for them. So I think that having that relationship and attachment um, uh, along with the learning environment definitely go hand in hand. And also, a part of that is to have that consistent growing relationship with the families that are part of your classroom and your program. It opens so many doors for communication to bridge that gap between home and school, or the classroom. And so just being able to have that little time at drop off or pick up, just saying, hey, how was your morning? Um, you guys had a baseball game last night. How did that go? Just the little things that help bridge just the gaps, and to open doors for, hey, I see they're really struggling with this. Have you noticed this at home? Is it something that's just going on here? Just those small interactions that make the world of difference um, in in the development and in that relationship. Um, and also, I consider myself to be a role model for my students and my families. The way I interact with others and how I present myself as a professional is of utmost importance. And I just want to be an example, not only as a professional, but just as a human being for my families and my students. I want to model appropriate actions and reactions and how I address situations. So I want to be able to model the appropriate behaviors so my students can see that and that, oh, that's how it should be done. Another question is what is the role of collaboration in professional practice, and address collaboration with other professionals as well as families. Early childhood professionals, we must be able to collaborate to teach effectively. We must be able to work with a wide variety of personnel, from co-teachers to assistants, directors, and owners. Professionals also must know how to work with their pod teachers or their sister classrooms, and sharing lesson plans and resources, along with classroom management as well. A lot of teachers, some teachers, depending upon what type of classroom you're in, you may have an assistant or you may have a co-teacher or a lead assistant model. And so just being able to work together and really have that ebb and flow of knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses and what you both need to work on and things, and just having that open communication with each other really helps reinforce the goals that you have for your students and also for yourselves as individuals and as a class. And so and with that, like I said, everyone should have the same goal in mind, to be there for their students. And likewise, families and educators must work together for the same purpose. So as we were talking about earlier, bridging that gap with the families in the classroom, just, whether it's a brief interaction at drop-off or pickup, or if it's something of a more formal setting, such as a conference or an IEP meeting, maybe for an individualized education plan. Those are fairly common meeting grounds, whether it's brief or, just a quick catch-up. And so definitely all the professionals and the families need to be able to work together to help the students succeed, no matter what it is. And, that all ties together with everybody being professional, having all their ducks in a row, being on time, having the meetings set up ahead of time, or if you need to call hey, let's do a check-in midweek kind of thing, just preparing for that, having your assessments ready, just being able to have all the information when you need it. Some of the strategies that I routinely utilize to ensure I'm critically reflecting on my growth as an early childhood professional. One of the ways that I focus on my growth is by taking a look at things I've done in the past and things I've done recently, and just measuring how far I've come. Whether that's taking my classes, which I'm almost done with, and for my bachelor's, and so I'm pretty excited about that. And also focusing on what's going to be next. How can my favorite phrase is work smarter, not harder. But don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid of hard work, but I like to help myself think of better ways to do things, or more outside of the box thinking. The world of education is constantly changing as kids change. The way I was taught things in school is not the same way that kids are being taught to do things now. They're vastly different, and so I try to keep up to date on current issues in the early childhood field by reading various articles, taking professional development classes online and in person when available. Thankfully, those are starting to come back since we had to stop meeting in person because of COVID, which made me really sad. There's a couple of conferences locally that I like to go to whenever they're around, the York County First Steps Conference. They're a very good organization in our area that helps early childhood families and teachers just be the best that they can be by offering resources and classes, and also those continuing education hours that we in the state of South Carolina need for early childhood if you are working in a licensed facility. So I also seek guidance from my colleagues about issues that they may be facing in their classrooms, and also look for any trends that may have developed and do a little bit more research on those. I know, talking about COVID, we've noticed a trend in the specific age ranges of like 1.5 to 2.5 year olds needing a little bit more assistance with certain things, and those are who we quote unquote call COVID babies, so to speak, who were born then in that time frame that didn't have as much exposure because the world was shut down. You weren't able to go to play dates. You weren't able to be in school as often as we would have liked. So definitely taking a look at those friends and what they're struggling with, and we've noticed more occupational therapists or speech therapists needing to come in and give assistance for those students as well. So that's been a really interesting development that we've watched happen over the past few years because of what was going on in the world. And so, along with watching out for those COVID kids, there's also more advocacy that early childhood educators play a part of. And I think one of the issues that's very big for me is I think just the issue of play in early childhood is not taken seriously enough. Play is thought of something that children just should do after their work is done. However, play is how children learn. It is, Jean Piaget said it best, play is the work of children. Or in the words of Fred Rogers, play is often talked about as if it were relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. And so play gives the children a foundation to build their skills upon. It allows them to reinforce their current skills and develop new ones as they grow. And as much as I love technology, I think it is taken away a child's ability to play. It has taken away their ability to think for themselves and to problem solve. Technology has taken away the need to play with others when you can just play a game or watch a video instead. So instead of learning how to take turns with a friend, trying to problem solve, conflict resolution, they're wanting to stay inside and not explore the world around them. They don't want to get dirty. They don't want to just explore or just see what they could build with just sticks or with something they may find on the playground. They just want to stay in their little bubble and watch videos all day. Which I'm not saying all technology is bad. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, that's where I've found my issue with technology lies. So I think we as educators naturally want to help promote learning and being able to take it a step further and identify the issues that hinder that learning process, it puts us in a unique position to speak out and to bring attention to the areas that need that extra attention or that need to be exposed. So I think advocacy is a very natural part of being an educator. Um, whether you have specific issues that you like to talk about or not, I think being able to pinpoint something and give it a voice really makes us more valuable as we grow in our understanding of what those specific needs are. So that is the conclusion of my questions, and thank you so much.